Welcome to Understand All. I'm your host, Aslikir Gerleaf. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of tactical framing, a powerful tool that shapes our perceptions and decisions in ways we often don't even realize. So buckle up and get ready for an eye-opening journey. Have you ever noticed how the same information can be presented in different ways, leading to vastly different reactions? That's the magic of framing at work. It's like a secret language that influences our minds without us even knowing it. And today, we're going to decode this language and uncover its hidden powers. First, let's define what we mean by tactical framing. In essence, it's the strategic use of language, context, and presentation to shape how people perceive and respond to information. It's a tool used in various fields, from politics and marketing to media and interpersonal communication. Now, you might be thinking, how can something as simple as framing have such a profound impact? Well, the answer lies in the fascinating world of psychology. Our brains are wired to process information in certain ways, and framing takes advantage of these cognitive biases to influence our judgments and decisions. Take the concept of loss aversion, for example. Studies have shown that people are more motivated to avoid losses than to pursue gains of equal value. In other words, we feel the pain of losing $100 more intensely than the pleasure of winning $100. Framing can leverage this bias by presenting information in terms of potential losses rather than gains, making people more likely to take action. This principle is often used in health communication. According to a study published in the journal Health Psychology, gain-framed messages that emphasize the benefits of a behavior are more effective in promoting prevention, while loss-framed messages that highlight the costs of not taking action are more persuasive for encouraging detection behaviors. So, if you want to encourage someone to quit smoking, you might frame it as, quitting smoking reduces your risk of lung cancer. Gain frame. Or, continuing to smoke increases your risk of lung cancer. Loss frame. But framing isn't just about crafting individual messages. It's also about the broader narratives and contexts in which information is presented. Media framing, for instance, can shape public opinion by emphasizing certain aspects of a story while downplaying others. A classic example is the war on drugs frame, which portrays drug use as a criminal issue rather than a public health problem, leading to harsher policies and stigmatization of users. Political framing is another arena where tactical framing is used to great effect. By framing issues in terms of values, emotions, and identity, political actors can mobilize support and shape policy debates. Think about how the phrase tax relief frames taxes as a burden to be alleviated, while investing in our future frames government spending as a positive investment. But here's the thing, framing isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool that can be used for both noble and manipulative purposes. That's why it's so important for us to be aware of how framing works and to approach information with a critical eye. One way to do this is to look for the underlying assumptions and values that a frame promotes. For example, a frame that presents an issue as a matter of individual choice may be overlooking systemic factors and power dynamics at play. By examining the limitations and biases of different frames, we can gain a more nuanced understanding of complex issues. Another key aspect of framing is the role of emotion. Frames that tap into our feelings, whether it's fear, anger, hope, or empathy, can be incredibly powerful in shaping our responses. Think about how environmental advocates have started framing climate change as a public health issue, tapping into our desire to protect our well-being and that of our loved ones. According to a study published in the journal Nature Climate Change, this framing can increase public engagement and support for policies compared to traditional environmental frames. But emotions can also be used to manipulate and deceive. That's why it's crucial to be aware of how our feelings are being targeted and to question the motives behind emotionally charged frames. Of course, framing isn't a one-size-fits-all tool. Its effectiveness can vary depending on the audience and context. Cultural differences, for example, can influence how people respond to different frames. A study in the Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology found that individualistic cultures tend to be more persuaded by frames that emphasize personal benefits, while collectivist cultures are more responsive to frames that highlight group outcomes. So, how can we use framing ethically and effectively in our own communication? One approach is to aim for transparency and honesty. Rather than trying to sneak in persuasive frames, we can be upfront about our perspectives and values. We can also strive to present multiple frames and viewpoints, encouraging critical thinking and informed decision-making. Another strategy is to use framing to build bridges and find common ground. By highlighting shared values and goals, we can create frames that bring people together rather than drive them apart. Think about how the phrase marriage equality reframes the issue of same-sex marriage as a matter of fairness and equal rights, appealing to widely held principles of justice. Ultimately, the power of framing lies in its ability to shape our understanding of the world around us. By becoming more aware of how framing works and using it thoughtfully and responsibly, we can navigate the complexities of communication with greater clarity and purpose. So the next time you encounter a persuasive message or a heated debate, take a step back and ask yourself, what frames are being used here? What assumptions and values do they promote? And how can I contribute to a more nuanced and constructive dialogue? The world of framing is vast and endlessly fascinating, and we've only scratched the surface today. But I hope this exploration has given you a new lens through which to view the information that shapes our lives. Remember, the power of framing is in our hands. Let's use it wisely and make a positive impact on the world. And that concludes our deep dive into tactical framing. I hope you found it as eye-opening and empowering as I did. Join me next time as we continue to explore the hidden forces that shape our perceptions and decisions. Until then, stay curious, stay critical, and keep framing for good.